Hey guys, just a bad guy here. Let's talk about some Benchmades. And the two Benchmades in question are the infamous Model 42 and the much hated Model 62. So I want to talk about these two because I have them now. And I just want to compare the two and talk about how Benchmade really went wrong. Let me grab my 51 as well, because why not? All right, so I grabbed my 51. We'll have that if we need it, but let's start off with the 42. So I think it was either the late 90s or the early 2000s, and Benchmade came out with this barrel song. Now keep in mind, Benchmade had, Les Diasis was running Benchmade after it went bankrupt and became Pacific Cutlery Co. But Benchmade was like the pioneer of making like high quality ballad songs. Like, from what I can tell, they seem to be the people worth giving the credit to when it comes to reviving the ballad song, really just making it popular. Now, I don't know the history too well. Maybe the Chinese stuff started coming out at some point before they did, but it seems like they are the ones that really jump-started the interest. Les Diasis was passionate about them. I don't know if he still is, but I don't know. But the Benchmade Model 42 was a really like monumental thing to come out, whether people realize it or not, because in a day where ballad songs were all pinned together and all made of steel, his own products, he came out with this, a good blade steel, 154 cm, like a good blade shape, mind you. I think they call this the Weehawk blade. And then you have this investment cast titanium handle that has holes drilled out. Mine's a later production model, and if you look up closer, let's see if I can make it look any better. Man, come on. There's some spots that are kind of questionable on mine as to like, why did they do such a bad job machining this? But it's still a genuine 42. And I'm still happy to have it, so it doesn't really make a difference at the end of the day. But investment cast titanium handles. Come on, focus. Goodness. Channel handles. Channel handles weren't uncommon. They were actually the most common, but also the spring latch. The spring latch that they would use on this model and then other models like the 32 for a few models, and then the rest of the 4X line that they make customs like the 49, which is my all-time grail. If I have to have one grail knife, it'd be the 49 crisp blade. But yeah, they made a real innovation in ballad songs whenever they made the 42. Lots of blade tap, and I like that. It's an older style ballad song with the modern flair of modern materials. It's a very squared off handle design, but it's still round. So it's got flat edges, sharp edges, not sharp, like they're super they're 90-degree angles for the most part. But my point is that it was a good product. It was made very well. I wish they didn't discontinue the 42, but it wouldn't have made it as infamous as it is today if it hadn't been discontinued. And Benchmade's reasoning is that they weren't selling that many, and when they discontinued it, people changed their mind and were like, oh, we want the 42. This one is a late model from what I can tell. From everything the seller told me about it, to the blade steel, just to how it looks, it appears to be a later run of 42. And doesn't change anything. But I got this one for a really good deal. I try to keep it in good condition. Most I've done is nick the tip on it, which you probably can't even tell. You can tell a little bit, but I didn't completely take the tip off of it, so could be worse. And then Benchmade decides, you know, we're gonna at the same time, I think they're also making the 51. Now this is a different edition 51 than what they sold. This is the 1501. So the normal 51, as many of you know, was blue liners and then black handle scales. But this came and it was kind of like, whoa. People weren't really like ready for, you know, a knife this light. Like it was pretty revolutionary for the time. People didn't like it because of the weight. They preferred the 42. They preferred the 42 also because it had longer handles. And I think the blade on the 42 is just a hair longer too, but the 51 was more of like a functionality knife. It was more of an EDC type of knife, and 51 is great, and a lot of people still have them. They still flip great. They're just a little lighter. But Benchmade decided to get rid of the spring latch that they had in exchange for the liner spring, where the latch presses on a piece of the liner like a leaf spring and it pushes it up so that it could lock in place when they press it down. Now, it's an ingenious design, and it's a better functional design. It doesn't get in the way. It's still loose and flops around, and that's what people didn't like. They wanted a latch that they just liked what they had before. They didn't want to change. So Benchmade made the 51, and it wasn't meant to replace the 42, but they discontinued the 42 at some point in 2009, and people weren't satisfied with just the 51. They wanted something else, and at some point throughout hearing all that, Benchmade decided they're going to release something. They released a 53 at some point. That was kind of a wash. I don't know how long they made that for, but people were very dissatisfied with that. But then they made the 62. Now the 62 is a battle song that they should have released back in like 2003, because it would have sold great back then, because it's a nice heavyweight stainless steel battle song on Zen pins. Like, it's indestructible. This thing is a tank. It's got a really nice, high-quality T-latch that doesn't get in the way of the blade when closing. Oh, goodness. Bumped the camera. As you can see, it cannot contact the blade. It's funny, like, because I can't think of a battle song that's been made in so long that even has that problem, because people used to talk about it like it's a feature. Like, oh, yeah, they designed it so the latch can't hit the blade. That's good. And like these days, if you told someone the latch doesn't hit the blade, they'd be like, duh, it's not supposed to, because there's just nothing made that doesn't follow that standard anymore. And if a company did make a knife that did that, people would kind of like lose their marbles. They're like, what is wrong with you? Why couldn't you design a simple latch gate? But the 62, the 6X series, is honestly a very nice line of battle songs. It's nice quality stainless steel. These are actually fully machined. They're sandwich style, not channel. And like when you put it next to the 42, I mean, like, you can see the quality, and I prefer the look of the brushed titanium versus the polished steel personally, but I love them both. They leave more of the milling marks in line with the 42, whereas the 6X, they kind of stonewash it lightly. Get rid of those grind marks. You couldn't get the tip lined up quite right on the grinding machine, it seems, but and it still has tap. But the 42 weighs like 4.2 ounces or something, I think. Somewhere in there, 4.2, 4.3. And the 62 weighs a lot more than that. It weighs like another 50% more. But, I mean, just everything about the 6X was just set up for failure in the market and time that it existed. They could have made these holes bigger, really. I don't know why they didn't. but like they just, for one, the handles are shorter, and that's probably to combat the weight. I mean, you lose, like, that little bit of handle length is significant in terms of how it feels in the hand. Like, just that little bit of handle is pretty significant. And I don't know how it's so significant. I thought it was more than that. Just going back and forth between these two. I didn't even put them up next to each other until just now and look at the actual difference in the length of the handles. But genuinely, that little bit of lost length makes you feel like you have way less control. If this knife weighed even just a little bit more but had that length, it would completely change how this knife feels, and it would probably feel a little more stable to flip. But being the way that it is, I just don't feel comfortable doing certain things on this knife because it's so heavy, and it's so sharp. Like, if it was dull, I'd think about it, but like, I do a lot of the backhand, you know, over where I throw it over the palm of my hand. Like, I just can't do that I just cannot bring myself to do that on the 62 because it's just so heavy, and this one's so sharp. I mean, this knife has like nicked me like multiple times. I mean, this was the 51 last night, but I got there. I mean, I got here. I mean, I got on my knuckle right here. You can see that in my last video too. The last brass video I did, you can see it on my knuckle. But like, really, it's such a shame because it's such a good quality knife. It's made really well, and I really like it. Like, I think it's a really good balisong as far as build quality goes. Like, I'm probably gonna EDC this, honestly. I was talking about that in my last video, but it's just not made for the market that it was sold into. People, of course, still bought it. It's not like none of them ever sold, but I mean, it eventually got discontinued, and when Benchmade discontinues something, it means that someone stopped buying it. And then Benchmade went on to make the 87, and that's kind of a whole story of its own. I haven't touched an 87 since 2017, and I genuinely want to get an 87 because I liked it, but a lot of people didn't. And it's an actual milled titanium balisong, but like, it's not what people wanted. Like, people just wanted the 42 back. And this is like part of the problem with companies that like think they know what they're doing, and they just don't. They don't know their customers. It's like Benchmade would have had like the best selling balisong if they just ramped up 42 production in like 2011 through like 2015. Like, if they brought it back, they would have made so much money. It's not even funny. So much money, it wouldn't have even have been funny. Like, it's just crazy because the 42 is just, and like, I don't get it. Like, and I understand that like all their tooling was disassembled, and they just stopped setup for the production. It's kind of like saying, Toyota, go back and make a 2016 Corolla. They just can't do that. It's just not something feasible. But really, like, if they just did it, like, if they just, like, they have the blueprints for all this stuff, I figure. I mean, like, they made the knife. If they just went back and made that, they would have had such an unbelievable cash crop. It wouldn't even have been funny. Because all people could talk about back in, like, 2016 is, like, oh, the 42 got discontinued and we really want one. And it's, like, people and, like, and some people argue it's like you could have gotten them cheaper on the secondhand market than what you could from Benchmade. While that is true, I promise you a lot of people would have still bought one straight from Benchmade just to have a brand new one. Like, I really don't understand, like, how it was so unbelievably unprofitable that they had to stop, and then the moment that everyone says to them, you know what, we're gonna start buying these, like there could have been people that would have been like, hey, I'll buy like a few thousand of them if you just make them. I'll buy them and then I'll sell them. And like, someone could have done that. I mean, I don't know. It kind of makes my head hurt as to why Benchmade stopped producing the 42. Now today, the 42 would be a failure because the 42 is not able to compete with the modern ballad songs. Even like the Alpha Beast and the Replicant don't seem to be popular choices anymore, and those were just like my favorites. Not the Replicant. I didn't care for the Replicant, but the Alpha Beast, like I really liked the Alpha Beast. I really do like it. It's still my favorite flipper, like my best performing ballad song. It's my favorite. It's the easiest to grip in the humidity down here, and it has all the right edges and curves and stuff. It's the right weight. It's not too light. It's not too big in the hands. I just really like the Alpha Beast. It's my favorite flipper. The Superfly comes close, but the Superfly is a little bit slicker than the Alpha Beast. But the 42 is one of my most fun flippers. Like I have the most fun flipping it. I love the way it sounds. I love the way it feels in my hand. There's just something so satisfying about the 42. It's like getting in it's like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know what vehicles are considered performance these days. I don't know. If the Alpha Beast is more of a sporty performance vehicle, the 42 is more of like a 5-speed Mustang or something. It's just really nice old charm. It just feels really tactile in your hands, and I really like it. But the 62, I really like it too. The 62 just wasn't made to compete in the market the 42 left for it. Like, Benchmade really just did not use their head at all when they decided to release the 62. Like, I'm glad the 62 exists, don't get me wrong. But Benchmade was just like really not thinking when they made the 62. It's like, everyone says that they want the 42. People say the 51 is too light. So let's make a ballad. Oh, and we just made the 53. Let's not talk about that. Let's make a ballad song that's super heavy that looks like the 42, but is stainless steel, doesn't have the cool spring latch, is channel construction, and is shorter. Let's make that, because that will be successful. And lo and behold, it was not successful. Like, maybe it was successful in their terms, like on their books and all that, but in terms of like success is like what people still flip to this day, I don't see anyone, and I mean anyone, flipping a stock 62. The only reason people flip the 62 at all is because they get a blade for it, and they can like, and that's the crazy thing. It's like people will buy a 62 just to take the handle scales off and then put fly tie handles on it. It's like, that's cool and all, but is it the same knife? Like, you could just get a replacement blade at that point, get replacement washers, and get replacement barrel spacers and channel block spacers. Like, at that point, like, you literally just made a ballad song. I thought about doing that one day. I was like, I wonder if I could get a fly tie blade and like fly tie handle scales and get shortened hardware to make it to where it all fits together and stuff like that. I was like, is that possible? And it probably is. However, yeah, the 62, I love the 62. It's a piece of refined CNC beauty. It's I mean, like, for lack of better words, it's still a sexy knife. Like, it's got all of the nice, wonderful curves and edges, really nice machining. It's nice and rounded on the spine. It's got really high quality machining. It's a very well put together knife that they for some reason decided, a T-latch, why don't we use a T-latch when everyone loved the spring latch? It's like, genuinely, my thought process is, all right, we made the 42, people love the 42, and then we made the 51, and people said, oh, the 51 is too light, and we don't like this spring latch design. We do like the Zen pins. We don't care for the D2. Most people didn't care for the D2. Pocket clip is nice. I wish they would have kept that. But people are talking about like all the good and bad things from the 51, and they're talking about how they missed the 42. So I guess their thought process is, Let's bring back an all metallic knife. Make it stainless steel because we're too cheap to use titanium for some reason. And then we'll give it the same blade because people like the blade on the 42. They really like the 42 the most, or it's the one we sold the most of. Oh yeah, and then after that, let's put Zen pins on it because we know a Tang pin wouldn't survive 5 minutes behind the weight of these handles. But let's put because they didn't like the spring latch on the 51, let's just not put a spring latch at all because that makes perfect sense. And it is annoying. It genuinely is annoying. Like, I mean, I could do aerials. A lot of the aerials I do, not big ones with this knife, but I've had it. Goodness gracious, I cannot get it to do it. Of course I can't get it to do it, but I've caught it like this before numerous times, and it's just like, get out of the way. And am I gonna take the latch off of this? I already did. However, I like it with the latch more, not because I like the latch, but because I functionally want a latch on this for what I'm gonna use it for, firstly, and second, I genuinely do not want to forget which handle I'm on because I will have a very bad day, a very bloody day if I forget which handle's the safe handle. So I keep the latch on this one for that reason too. I've been really spoiled with knives that were not that sharp. My 51 over here is not that sharp at all. Like, it's pretty dull actually. I want to have all my knives sharpened, but I don't want to send them off to Benchmade just to get sharpened, for one, and two, secondly, I can just find people to sharpen it. Like, my uncle literally has a wicked edge, and I just have to convince him to sharpen knives at some kind of rate, if he even has the time. Convince him to let me borrow his wicked edge, which I'm kind of scared to do that, but I want to have my knives sharp, but I'm scared if I give my knives to him, he's going to sharpen the knives to like twice the sharpness of a scalpel, and I look at it wrong, and I just start bleeding from my eyes. Like, that's how sharp he can get stuff with a wicked edge. It's crazy how sharp you can get knives with a wicked edge. And I've tried just standard sharpening on a sharpening stone. I am so bad at that. Like, I am actually so egregiously terrible at sharpening on a sharpening stone. But for fun mentions, let's put this 51 next to the other two. It's got the matching hole pattern. But they still made the 51, I believe, shorter than the 62. No, they made it longer, didn't they? It's crazy, isn't it? Yeah, it's the same size. I guess the 51 is just slightly longer than the 62. I gotta look at that. It's crazy, the weight difference. Yeah, the 51 is longer than the 62. And then the 42 is even longer. But the 42 is still my favorite Benchmade to flip, by far. But I do enjoy the 62. But anyways, this was just my video, just talking about the 42 and the 62, and man, I was off frame. Talking about them, and I'll give you one last nice close-up look of all of them. But I wish Benchmade made them like they used to. I've actually flipped the newest Benchmade. I forget the name of it. I want to get one, but you know, I don't want to spend a whole bunch of money right now. I'm tempted to get one at some point though, because it's not the worst flipper ever. I got to flip one in the store, at my local gun store. And It's honestly not that bad of a flipper, if I'm being honest. It's not terrible. I like probably the shorter one better. I don't like the excessively long handles. It's like Benchmade just takes everything that is suggested and then they expand upon it way further than we ever expect them to. And it ends up with like a caricature of a knife in comparison to what we asked for. But Benchmade's not really a balisong company as much as they used to be, unfortunately, and that's just the way that it is. But nevertheless, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and goodbye.